Hi, everyone. Lee.honish. For the three of you who've never seen me, I'm the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division. I am 20 plus years in the business. I started in the late 90s foreclosing on people, doing spit and speckle rehabs. All I know is REO and asset management. I've worked for 4 major banks. I ended my career with IndyMac Bank. I've been on the road now for the last 3.5 years teaching real estate agents. I've trained over 50,000 real estate agents. I've done over 500 seminars. I am officially the trainer of trainers and your new czar of short sales. Self-appointed. Self-appointed. Because I don't think Obama's going to do it. Although I think I would make a great czar of short sales. My first active order would be to just like give a wet willy to like the people that, you know, like Joe Stump himself. Wouldn't that be fun? But that's just me. Hi! Here's the rules for the 3 that haven't seen me. I'm fun, okay, because this is going to be a long day otherwise. So some of the questions from my regulars were a little disappointing before we started. Sadly. Yours was a good question. And the question was presented before we began, why does it seem as though the banks really want to foreclose? And no bank really wants to foreclose. It's actually a perception. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in order today. Let me give you my program for today. I'm into a school format at this time. I'm into the blackboard. I'm back to this yet again. I'm going to go through this beginning, intermediate, advanced levels. I have removed my E5 to the power of C thing that I wrote a master's thesis about, a 26-page letter explaining how egos actually destroy short sales that went so completely far over everybody's head that they looked at me with the blank stare of, so I gave up on it. So we'll do it a different way. And we're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to learn how to succeed. I'm going to teach you the difference between the truth and right. There is a huge difference. I've spoken for many years. Obsessed with being right. I think that's a way to say it, isn't it? You've seen me a lot. My philosophy was to tell you how it was going to be. You either loved me or you hated me. And I didn't have much of a problem with it. There are people here that are definitely in the we love Lee category who bought into the way I think and the way I run things. It was wrong. If I had taught people from day one about what the truth of the situation was, there would be a big difference in the market. And here's exactly what I mean. Does anybody know exactly when the perception of short sales got harder? Anybody have an idea? Pinpointed? Happened recently. Happened within the last 6 months, plus or minus. Right? Somewhere right around summer. I did this with Patty Guilford, a longtime friend of mine. We were talking on the phone. She goes, short sales have perceivably gotten harder. I said, pinpoint it. She goes, I don't know, March, April, May, somewhere in that range. Does that sound about right to you? Everybody follow that? Mm-hmm. Would you like to know exactly the period of time I stopped speaking? Publicly, 3 to 5 times a week? If I'm not speaking on a day-to-day basis about what the banks are doing and being so far out on the other end of the spectrum, there's no balance. It's like our own, you know, political process. Without a left, there's no right. So there's no neutral. There's literally nobody telling you that the banks are lying to you. What are you being told right now? You have a fiduciary responsibility to the bank. You're being told by your brokers, attorneys, and everybody else who isn't bolted down, if you don't do it the right way, you're going to jail. It's all based on fear. The truth? Somebody cite the case law for me of one real estate agent who got popped for trying to do his job. That's all I'm asking. Somebody produce the effing case law. I'm tired of this. Well, there's so many cases pending. Big deal. I'll go file a case if you guys want, so we've got one on our side, but to be brutally honest at this point, I mean, we've let the balance swing so far to the other direction that we've now made the bank a principal in a transaction, right? And that's where the problem comes into. That's what we're really getting at here. How is the bank a principal? Okay, there are 2 principals in the transaction, the buyer and the seller. The bank is a beneficiary on a note, right? They're not related. They're not involved. They're nobody. That's the problem here. That's the truth. But what's happened? Somehow, through influence, and I hate to use the word lobbying, and of course using money to get more money, what's your educational process? Short sales are going to take a long time. Number 2, the bank is going to be in control. They're a principal in this transaction, and therefore you have a fiduciary responsibility to them. What contract did I sign on that subject? I don't remember that contract because I believe I would have to have one to make that happen. The third that I find astounding, you should expect to cut your commission. Number 4, you should expect that your client needs a deficiency at the end of the transaction. That's the general taught process of short sales. And for 3.5 years, I've stood on tabletops, throwing chairs, threatening agents, and saying some very outlandish things. But at the end of the day, what have I said? Don't pay the banks. They want to do your deals. Don't listen to what they're saying to you. Because the truth is, there's an agent somewhere right now on a phone to a bank who's having his commission cut, who's believing a lie, who's believing a story, saying, okay, I'll do it. Dumbass. I mean, legitimately, what are you thinking? You just made it hard for everybody else that I just educated. That's all it takes. And the day I stopped speaking, it all went into the toilet. Maybe that's an arrogant statement on my part. I don't want it to be an arrogant statement. I want you to know the truth. Everybody's perception of short sales changed in approximately May of this year. I know that I stopped speaking in April. I know that every designation that isn't bolted down tried to sell it. I know that every investor who had a get-quick-rich, short sales scheme came out of the woodwork again. I stopped speaking. I mean, everybody got upset at me for speaking what was on my mind, and it was my frustration of this market. The banks work in a very systematic format. You must understand that. They do 2 things. They lend money and they collect money. Never believe otherwise. Okay? So we'll get to it all. Last but not least, I'll of course ask you to make a decision on your day. I want you all involved with short sales. I want you really involved with short sales. I have, this is my new home, Las Vegas. I'm here weekly. People ask me, well, don't you need to have like a place here? I have a place here, I have a place in Oceanside, I have a place in Phillips Ranch. I just move from place to place. I now live hotel to hotel or room to room, basically, without being on the road. I just, kind of rotate my locations. But this is just as much of my home as anywhere else that I go these days. And Las Vegas real estate sucks. What do you want me to say on that subject? So I'm going to go out and I'm going to find a hotel that wants to go help people, and I'm going to do things for homeowners, and I'm going to jump up on chairs, and I'm going to make a difference. Because there's nobody else doing it. It's how much can I get paid? No, enough of that crap. If we make an effort to change the market, it'll be better for all of us. And this is the first month. I'm going to do this every month for agents. I'll do quarterlies for homeowners. I'll keep doing my pro bono crap. Stop right now, all right? Or it's going to be a long day for me. I got to get through this video.
Bless your heart.
I know. It's going to be a really tough day if you're going to keep that up in the back row. For those of you who don't know me, the few of you that are here, they've all seen me before. This is a new lee.honish. They're not used to this. The old lee.honish would jump up on a chair and throw something at you and demand that you believe me. And you will just take what I offer. And that's not the way I operate anymore. 5 or 6 months ago when I stopped speaking, I learned how to teach people, and I started consulting people, and I went out of my way to educate the masses. And it's been very interesting. And I opened my own mitigation company. It's downstairs. I'll talk about it later. But my whole goal was to come up with flat fee mitigation so you don't have the problems that you have with attorneys and that you have closing deals like you have. So it doesn't come out of your pocket, that it doesn't come out of your commission, that it just closes. Why? I just want to make it better. Stop it. Stop. You in the very... you're going to be tough on me today. All right. Let's start at the beginning. Get an update on where we are. I had premiered this information a little while ago, and it's market conditions and where we are right now. So, here we are. We are smack dab. We've got a homeowner with a mindset of a loan mod, lucky us. We've got a bank that makes everybody believe they'd rather foreclose. We've got the wonderful courthouse process, and we have our beautiful REOs that don't seem to exist. For those of you wondering why exactly, I've represented REOs with a tennis ball. It goes with a wonderful story, which I'll tell in just a few minutes. For those of you that read my blogs, you already know the story. For those of you that have seen the show, same thing, different day. All right, but here's the thing. Right now we have homeowners. They have a mindset of 2 things. I'm going to teach them to you because that's how you market to them. Number 1, they believe in loan mods. There is something very broken in a homeowner today where they are under some kind of delusional capacity where they believe that they get to keep their house when they don't make payments. and therefore do a magical loan modification that will somehow magically get them a home. I don't know how it works. What they consistently get is something called a trial loan modification. It gives them 1 year to 18 months at a lower price, and statistically 60% of those people fail on those payments as well. That's exciting. The latest one to hit the market, which is what all my new marketing is about. Did I send you one? I didn't send you one. My latest marketing, I'm very proud of this one, is deed in lieu of foreclosures making a run again. This is like brand new, like within the last couple of weeks. There's a weird mindset right now about homeowners about deed in lieu of foreclosure. How did this one reappear on the market? All right, I'm going to say this about deed in lieu so that we're all on the same page. I like marketing for deed in lieu help. Okay, as a licensed person, you have the ability to help somebody with their deed in lieu. So feel free to create a marketing piece of such. So when they come in and bring you all the paperwork, which resembles a short sale package, I might add, based on the way I do my marketing, you just sit them down and you tell them the truth. You qualify for a deed in lieu. Heck, you might even qualify for a $3,000 check. But I need to let you know, they're going to put the word foreclosure on your credit for the next 5 to 7 years. Because that's the truth. And that you won't be able to rent or buy anything probably in the next 5 to 7 years without a substantial deposit or, cosigner or something of that nature. But beyond that, it's a hunky-dory little thing. Just toss your keys back to the bank. They'll probably even give you a check for it. Number one response, well, why would anybody do that? Well, I also need to add this to the tale. They're also going to try to seek the deficiency even if they do a deed in lieu. That's the truth. Because the banks are actually, which takes me to my next problem, the bank. Okay, so I got a client who's bent out of shape because they believe in loan mods and they believe in deed in lieu. I've got a bank that is now using their wealth and their might to influence educational process. Why? Okay, let's really think about where we were told it's now your fiduciary responsibility. Number one place, the NAR attorneys. NAR attorneys, they're the ones who started this. NAR attorneys are the ones who started this. How does an attorney that have the big R before your name actually support and pay a check? And yeah, I'm saying this about NAR, screw you all. That's old school, Lee. I had to do it once. I'll call him out on this. How does an attorney that if I were a realtor that I pay money to, that actually knows the law, would say that I have a fiduciary responsibility to a bank? It's impossible. It's literally impossible. So how does it occur? Well, I can hypothesize and allege that perhaps, I need to say that because this is going to be a World Wide Web video, and that's all I need is another cease and desist order in my lifetime. What if? I like this game. What if? My life is really dictated on the word what if. I've been in the truthful right zone a lot, but let's play what if, because I've been told I'm a conspiracy theory nut. If I were a bank and I wanted to collect money, what would be the best way to influence those that gave me the money? I got an idea. How about I do it under the guise of helping the largest organization for real estate professionals? And I will give them lots of information, especially the biggest fact that it's your fiduciary responsibility. Sound crazy? If you take the SFR test, tell me I'm not crazy. I've seen the SFR test. It's insane. Okay? That's reality. Now, is that me being right? Or is that the truth? Because if you don't fundamentally believe any of this crap, it ain't going to matter. Okay? I don't need to be right for the sake of being right. I got people here that are legit Kool-Aid drinking. Whatever Lee says is the way it is. He's been right for too long. I want the truth. And I'm tired and sick of, well, this is just how it is. So what happens at NAR? It bleeds down to the Department of Real Estate. The Department of Real Estate start writing their little memos. That bleeds down to your board, and you're sitting in front of your broker who's now telling you, it's your fiduciary responsibility to deal with the bank. Really? Don't I need a physical contract to make that happen? Doesn't it mean that there's an imparted contract between the two people involved for that much open disclosure? So why is it happening? The bank does two things. They lend money and they collect money. They're a glorified shark. Okay? So, what is a short sale at the end of the day? It's an unloan. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to teach it to you all a new way. This is brand new just for you. Came up with this a couple of days ago. A short sale is an unloan. That's what it is. So think of it like a loan. It's a stated unloan process. There are no VODs, no VOEs, no VOMs. This isn't like, okay, I'm going to talk in loan terms from now on so people understand what I'm talking about. We're unloaning our client. So do I want to make them look really good? Or do I want to make them look really bad when I state what they look like? Well, if I was doing a loan, I'd make them look really good, wouldn't I? And I'm sure nobody in this room did a stated loan where they got, you know, $100 more of what they needed debt-to-income ratio. See, I like the smiles on people when they look at me and I do this section. They do the, no, Lee, that would never happen. All right, I'll tell you what I know. Because I've done audit on HELOC files on stated income loans. Consistently, 90% of them were within $1,000 to $1,000 of what they needed to make to get that loan. That is some amazing effing math. I got to be honest. That is because they're supposed to fill it out themselves, right? Just like the financial package on an unloan, right? They're supposed to fill it out themselves. So I'm sure they weren't coached at all on exactly what they needed to make for a debt-to-income ratio, that if you told that to a standard homeowner, they'd look at you and twist their head and go, what's a debt-to-income ratio? Everybody following this?
Yep.
These are the things that need to be discussed. Because if we don't, we're not going to close files. Because escalations no longer work. I'll get to that when the time comes. That's my fault as well. There are a lot of things that are my fault in this market. It's time for me to fix most of them. And the first thing is to fundamentally understand this. If your loan package from the beginning isn't an unloan package, you will not close your short sale. Simple as that. Okay? So, we're unloaning our client, the homeowner, who wants a loan mod. Now, let's inject the federal government, shall we? For some delusional fantasy that they're under, they think that it's a great idea right now, i.e. Freddie and Fannie, that they foreclose. Only 2 postponements on a Freddie or Fannie deal. We all know the stories and what the hell they're doing in that whole thing. Yes, they've reactivated the whole thing. Are they really doing it? Yes, no, yes, no. Who knows? Who really cares? Why are you taking a file so late to begin with? But, all right, here's what happened. The federal government took over Freddie and Fannie. We all know that, right? Everybody knows that. That's the truth. It is a federally run facility now. So the federal government felt that they needed to help force the bottom in fear of rising interest rates, right? Everybody following that? So what did they tell Wells, Chase, and BofA? You must foreclose. You only get 2 postponements on our deals. We really want you to foreclose. And this made the REO investors very excited and very happy, didn't it? Their little tails started to wag. They started to run around in circles, you know, piddling on themselves. They were so excited. REOs are coming. REOs are coming. REOs are coming next month. Next month, next month, next month. She's done REOs. See, right? Next month, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen again next month.
That's right.
We're back to the it's going to happen again next month. I'm going to show you exactly what happens because I talked to Freddie and Fannie people just a few months ago.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share that information with you. What a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a myth. It's the unicorn of this industry. So why? Why? Well, the federal government really felt that they were trying to force the bottom. They were afraid of climbing interest rates. They really thought they were doing something that was correct to help stabilize the market. I don't have much of a problem with it. The problem is the little shark in this process, the bank, doesn't like to foreclose. So does everybody remember what they did 3 months ago out of the blue? They postponed every foreclosure sale in the United States. One bank did it, then the next bank did it. They let one do it first. They put their foot in the water first. And then the second bank did it after the first one didn't get its toes bit off, and then the third one did it. Now, follow me, because there's new people here. I'm going to give you some really crazy history of REOs and short sales. Let's just say that randomly out of the blue there was a problem with collateral packages. And that's why they actually did it. Then you know what? There's no conspiracy theory at all that I'm about to tell you. But being somebody who is the former head loss mitigator of IndyMac Bank, somebody who's done audits on file, I remember vividly requesting 300 files for audit and only getting about 200 of them back with a note saying, we don't know where the rest of the files are. So if I know that 1/3 of my files out of a 50,000 unit HELOC group were missing, and that was 3.5, 4 years ago, what are the odds of that event coinciding exactly with the federal government saying you must foreclose? Want to know what that is on percentages? You hit the lottery twice. I did the math. You will hit the lottery twice to hit those points exactly like that. It is the equivalent of basically 1968 launching a rocket and hitting the dark side of the moon exactly the right time, the first time, exactly at that one spot. The math is astra-freaking-nomical to pull that off. 4 years ago, to actually coincide with an event based on deficiency of collateral packages, comes exactly to a head at exactly the same point the federal government says, we really need you to foreclose. And what happened? The day after the elections, we start foreclosing again. They turned everything back on. Why? So the Republicans are back in power. Now there's a neutral balance in the power. Now they can fight amongst themselves, and Wells, Chase, and B of A can go back to the business of what they do best, sucking every dollar out of every file. I want to repeat a little history about our friends at the bank, okay, that everybody's forgotten. We as an American people only know history 1 month back and worry about 1 month forward. So I'm going to rewind to January of last year because everybody forgets this, and I want it on the videotape. In January, Wells, Chase, and B of A cut profits. They made money in a down market. And they're not producing anything. They're not doing loans, okay? So they're making their money somewhere. So people tell me short sales don't work. No, they work very well, okay? Don't fool yourself. How well do they work? When Wells, Chase, and B of A tried to pay out bonuses to their top executives, the federal government, under the TARP program, stepped in and said, we can't have you do that. It's offensive to the American people. We've lent you a lot of money. At which point, Wells, Chase, and B of A responded by paying back the TARP money plus interest. So the question on your mind is, how much money does Wells, Chase, and B of A have? That's a good question. Now, I can only roughly give you that answer, but I did get somebody to give me this answer. And it was an economist, and he was a very good guy. I said, at one point I thought somebody was trying to buy out Wells. There was some weird stuff happening with Wells, and I was watching the market. And I was talking to an economist, and I said, somebody's trying to buy out Wells. And he's like, dude, there's no way anybody could buy out Wells. Ever. It couldn't happen. If they had a run on every single person who had money in that bank, they'd still have money left over. I said, well, how much money do the big three actually have? I mean, could they theoretically be put out of business? These are his exact words. Wells, Chase, and B of A could pay off the national debt and still remain in business. That's a staggering amount of money. And for a guy like me who doesn't really concern myself with a lot of money, having worked in a bank for 20 plus years, that staggers my imagination based on money. That's a tangible amount of money. So why are they doing what they do? Why would they make the perception of we'd rather just foreclose? Why would they threaten the courthouse? And where the hell are the REOs? Those are the really bigger questions. And why the hell is the REO a tennis ball? That should be the bigger question on that slide. All right. From first missed payment to actual foreclosure in the United States is about 1 year at this moment. It's gone down. It used to be about 18 months, so the federal push has gotten it down by about 6 months. Yay. So if you get somebody day one, first missed payment, you've got about a year to work your file, bottom line. All right. So what's going on with the actual REOs and why nobody actually sees them on the market? I had an opportunity to go to an event and see representatives from Freddie and Fannie, and as those bright-eyed, bushy-tail REO investors stared at them with that glazed-over look, with saliva dripping off their fangs, ready to jump on both of the people there to get listings out of them, they explained exactly where they're going, and that's why I have a park chart. So the first 30% is what we call the market hold. Okay? So anything that goes to sale, 30% are naturally going into a market hold. Because of collateralization and securitized pools and investors and et cetera, you can't uncollateralize the securitized pool. Anybody understand that? That was really technical talk. If there's a group of people who lend money out to other people, if they decollateralize that portfolio, i.e. sell the actual property, if they could figure out how to disperse the money, because it's not one people, it's an actual investment group, right, with investors behind it. It's a pool on a pool on a pool. Everybody follow that? Now here's why I'm bringing it up. Let's say you could sell off properties in bundles for that group. Wouldn't that then create a Ponzi-like setting because you have no collateralization of money being lent to money being lent to money. Because in the United States, the last time I checked, you cannot take money to lend money to lend money. It all has to be collateralized to something. The friends helping friends kind of concept. You can't do that. It's illegal the last time I checked. And they use words like Ponzi. Okay, I'm not saying that anybody is actually involved in those things, nor would I actually allege it. I just know for a fact that money can't be lent to money. You can't do the friends helping friends routine. It's got to be collateralized to a physical, tangible item. That's why there's a market hold. At the end of the day, that's the reason there's a market hold. The next 30%, retail REOs. All right, so 30% plus or minus are going to see the actual retail market. So that's not bad. I mean, that's something to bank on, right? You should, you know, if 30%, yeah, right, exactly. The other 30%, this is my personal favorite, thanks to the current administration. Yay, they're holding them for the cities and federal programs in Section 8. Yay. You know why? People do this all the time. We're living in a socialist society. Nah, that's BS. All right, I've been to Detroit, I've been to Cleveland, I've seen New Orleans. Some of the crap just needs to be knocked down and demolished and turned into a park at this point. Okay? We have property with zero value. Nobody's going to physically buy those properties. So what they have to be done is re-engineered and reorganized or rezoned or something. It's logical. The Section 8 thing I'm a little sketchy about, and in my fantasy land of the Section 8 program, that next door to somebody like Angelo Mazzillo, his neighbor is foreclosed upon, and that house becomes a Section 8 housing, and that Angelo has actually got somebody who's bought a house and living in it based on a Section 8 housing program. I know it's a big fantasy that I live in, but it would be such a wonderful, wonderful thought in a strange way. And of course, there's a 10% market variable because you guys want exact math. All right, there's always a variance, right? So on any given day, one of these can be a little more or a little less. But that's what's happening. So I sat at this event with all these REO people in a room this big, staring at people from Freddie and Fannie, waiting to jump up there and whip out their cards. I want to be the next REO superstar kind of reality show moment. First thing they said is, well, we'd all like you to be involved. You want to buy portfolios? Go to our website. Fill out the form. And I was sitting next to somebody who actually laughed at that moment. And I said, why are you laughing? And he said, well, that's not how you get REO listings out of Freddie or Fannie. I said, really, how? He goes, well, I just talked to another guy at another table. He jumped on a plane and flew down and wined and dined that guy that's sitting right up there to get all his stuff. And I went, that's the way I remember how to do it. I didn't know nothing about no websites to get listings, but... Yet, these bright-eyed, bushy-tailed investors sat there with such glee and happiness of hearing the mastery of REOs. And the reason I'm really discussing this is because there are a group of real estate professionals out there that are under some psychotic and delusional belief that REOs will someday magically appear on this market. How? I do not know. I give you my latest analogy. I wrote a blog about it. I'm very proud of this analogy. That is Blue, the wonder dog. And that is Blue's tennis ball. Blue is not my dog. And no dogs were harmed in the making of this video, although the mental abuse that I did to Blue is actual, I admit it, but Blue's a little sketchy to begin with. It's a farm dog. My daughter lives on a farm. The neighbor dog, Blue. Blue has a thing for catch and fetch. And here's what it is about catch and fetch. And I didn't notice this. As I'm playing catch and fetch with Blue, Blue's bringing it back. I get it over the fence, just like this. Blue sat and stared at that damn ball like a mental patient. Now, seeing as though Blue was in distress, I decided I'd just reach down, because I'm not going into the goat pen. I don't like going into the goat pen to get stuff. It's a whole thing. So I just picked up another ball, and I tossed it 2 inches by Blue. Blue didn't move and stared at that damn ball. Did not move. Tell me that's not what you see out of REO investors. They're just staring through the fence like mental patients. It's going to happen. It's really, really going to happen. So, having an opportunity to talk to all these wonderful REO people, I decided to ask them. Because I really want to take investment dollars and really get it involved in the Las Vegas market. That's a big deal to me. It's part of my plan. So how do I get them excited about it? Well, I make so much money doing REO flips. Okay, hypothetically, you get an REO. Hypothetically. How do you get them? Well, I either get them on the courthouse steps or I get them on the retail market. All right? How much do you make? Well, I've made as much as 35%. There's a key word in there. This is like gambling, right? There was key words in there. There's a key word in here. I like rewinded my brain really fast. I'm like, let's play. It was like I threw my yellow, what is it, a red flag in football. I threw my flag. I needed an instant replay on that. So I was rewinding in my head, and as much as. Well, yeah, they're not all that good. Okay, let's just talk about your 35% deal. What'd you do? Well, I bought an REO on the courthouse step. I got it for $100,000. I fixed it up, and I made, like 140 or I made the 35% on my money. So you bought a property, sight unseen on the REO on the courthouse step. You went all in. All in. You risked all your money, and you made 35%. Yeah. So that's why short sales suck. What? And that's how this conversation went. I mean, I'm literally, how does A connect to B? Well, the banks don't want to give up short sales at a lower amount. I said, okay, hypothetically you made 35%, but you risked 100% of your money. I know for a fact for people who do short sale investing, they make about 18% on their money with zero risk. Zero risk. They don't put their money in until they know they've got it sold to the end unit. And they can make, on average, 18% with zero risk. I know, you give me that face. A to B, B to C. That's what I'm saying on the camera. It's legal. You just have to disclose it. Nobody ever does. That's the whole thing. Nobody knows how to disclose in this place. I can't tell the buyer or the seller. They'll just walk away. You guys do it. All I got to do is disclose, right? What's the big deal? That makes it legal. I don't really get it, but follow me on this whole process. If REO investors are making about 35%, and short sale people are making 18%, why the hell are they still staring through the fence? What magical gimmick am I missing about this whole thing? And as real estate professionals who have investors that really want to work with you, how can you not sell them on this 18% spread? That's the part I'm amazed with. And don't get me wrong, I'm the former head loss mitigator, and I had a guy explain short sales to me that night and why they were stupid. He had written an offer that was 30% below fair market value and said, yeah, the bank sucks because they won't take it. Well, no crap, dude. They make more if they foreclose. I mean, any rocket scientist can do the math in their head on that program. I mean, the lowest cut I've heard of is about 25% below fair market value. And that's the lowest of the low end. So just have to follow that whole thing. That's where we are. People are still staring at that tennis ball. Why? I stopped speaking, John. It's your fault. Why didn't you say something when I got crazier?
I like playing poker.
I understand. All right, let's get to short sales. It's time to learn the dirt, shall we? The basics. Let's start with the basics. I got all new basic stuff, all right? It's an unloan process, so we're going to re-engineer the file. We're going to do it in a different way. So what are we dealing with? We're going back to basics. Value, offer, and the HUD, right? Fair market value, 90% of fair market value, first net payoff to the first net payoff to the second. That's it. Simple, complete, done. Anybody can do it, including a 13-year-old. I actually have the testimonial video these days from her, Steve's daughter. She got to see Steve's daughter. Is that like the most amazing story? Yeah, I know. Great story. So, how did we screw this one up in the last 6 months? I hate to say it with a straight face. How did this one go sideways? But the banks told me the value was so much more. All right. New rule of thumb. I'm premiering it today, just for you, John. New rule of thumb. There is basically two simplistic principles when dealing with a file. Rule number one, there's one hard, fast rule with the bank about what they lie. They will lie about. Did I get that on video correctly? Lie. They will lie about the value. There's no question in my mind. I've actually interviewed people who do BPOs. They will 100% bold-faced, no doubt, stick it straight up your rear end, lie about the value. I have talked to the people who do the BPOs. They go, no, I submitted the value at 100. They came back with 125. I have heard the story so many times. It's a lie. And here's why. I'm going to give you my inside knowledge on this, okay? If I didn't know the fair market value of my properties consistently, would I continue to have a job as a head loss mitigator? Simple as that. How do I determine my real numbers on a file and how much I make unless I can determine fair market value? So the bottom line is the hard, fast rule. They will lie. Now the second one's the tough one. This is the one where we all make the mistakes. Creating the story based on those three items, the value, the offer, the HUD, right? So they're going to lie about the value. Make that as a blind assumption. Anything else they say is based on what you submit. There, I said it. I said it. I said it with a straight face. You want to see what a real bank person looks like? I'll show you how they really dress. I started doing this at the 2-day event. This is how real bank people dress, okay? Truthfully, I should have brought a golf shirt, because that's really how bank people dress. Slacks and a golf shirt. But this is like everybody's image of what a banker looks like for some reason. We don't wear suits. I need suspenders too, right? For the correct image, I almost need suspenders or something. You guys having fun? Can you sit, better, Suze? Better? You like the healthier version of Lee a little bit better? 6 months is done. Aleda's just waiting to cry. You just want me to get to a cry moment, don't you? No. You do. I know the truth. John wants to know when we're playing poker. All right. Maybe tonight. I don't know. All right. Everybody think about one of your current files. Does everybody understand? Most everybody in this room understands the concept of escalation. Do I need to get into the history of how escalations came into being, except for the 3 people who've never heard the story? 3.5 years I invented the word with a guy named Trent Chapman. It's a modern day word that's actually used in common media and vernacular these days. Trent and I came up with the word. We did it at our very first seminar. We're the ones who came up with the word escalation. It is the process of going over somebody's head, not a direct supervisor, and showing your story and getting an answer. That is the correct answer to what an escalation is. Trent and I sat in a room. We came up with it. We should have copyrighted the word or something, but we didn't. And now everybody's, oh, I escalate all the time. I have great contacts. Good for you. You know what I've done by teaching 50,000 real estate agents how to escalate? They've effed up my escalations completely. Now you can't talk to anybody upstairs because everybody talks to somebody upstairs. I was actually proud to hear that somebody that I coached recently got a phone call from Joe Stump himself. Wow. I'm like, wow, aren't I a proud parent? It is what it is. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Kind of an is thing. All right, think about one of your files. Think about one of your escalations. Got it in your mind? I guarantee the reason you are escalating, other than value, is in your file right now. Does that make sense? It's great, right? I know it's great. This is kind of like the premise that I'm doing this whole new 6. Are we having a great time? We're having like a sabbatical moment. Got nothing but people that I already work with. This is the weirdest room I ever wanted to do this whole, let's go help people, yay. Lee's new. Lee's different. Maybe I should have went to Orange County with Trent. But seriously, folks. How you doing? No, not you. Are you with me? Still? You're new to this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of rapid fire. There's a whole lot of crap going on. She's loving me because she hasn't heard the truth for a while. It's like your first time actually getting somebody who goes, this is the way I think. Better?
Good.
All right, good. We'll get to the meat of this. Don't worry, I kick it up a level.
I'm hanging in there.
He's seen me a million times too. There's a whole weird vibe to this room. All right. Whole weird vibe. I don't know what the hell happened. All right, so if you've got an escalation occurring, anybody out there who's got an escalation, I guarantee your story is the reason for the escalation. Right? What do I mean? You're unloaning money. So if you're escalating based on they want a deficiency, they want an unsecured note, they want X, Y, or Z, you told them. Statistically, you told them. Or your client told them, or somebody told them. Somebody screwed up your story. Somebody screwed up your alibi. That's the truth. Nobody wants to hear that. There are 3 fundamental questions you should ask your client the first day you meet with them. 3 fundamental questions. I'm going to teach them to you. I live by these rules. There's a brand new one, and I'm going to explain it as well. Brand new market stuff. I have seen the future of loans, and it has scared me. All right, question number 1. Have you talked to the bank or submitted anything to the bank in regards to a loan modification? Did you sit on hold? Did you push buttons? Did you scratch your, was somebody waiting outside? Did somebody approach you from Titanium Solutions? I don't care what it is. Did it happen? Question number 2. Have you thought about, have you debated, have you spoken to an attorney about doing a bankruptcy? That's a biggie. You don't want that curveball showing up in your Christmas stocking. The 3rd, this is brand new. When did you originate the loan? There is now a loan on the market. that was originated after the first quarter of 2007, it is the future of loans. And you cannot do a short sale on those loans. They suck. I've seen them. You just take the deal that they offer. You just, okay, that's it. That's all you can do. Here's the value. We've agreed on the value. My client will take the unsecured note. Done. Here's what it is. It's usually an 80-20, 80-30, 80-20, 70-30, 60-40. First, second, same bank. Second lien is a HELOC. The second lien HELOC has MI. What did the bank just create for themselves? They created a pad in the equity for the depreciating market. So when you show up to do a short sale, because people statistically, they pad for 5 years, so they figure out the percentage of loss over 5 years. That's what the second note's going to be. Then I drop MI on that second position lien, right? So if the client flakes in the next 5 years, because that's statistically where somebody flakes, first 5 years, I've now padded against the equity for my first position lien. I have MI on the second to pay it off. It's brilliant. And what you will get is, we have MI on the second, which most of the time is a lie, remarkably. Okay? The only time it's not a lie is if the loan was originated after the first quarter 2007. You guys aren't in Cleveland and Detroit. I'm guessing that they probably premiered a product like that there a lot sooner because their values dropped a lot sooner. What am I telling you you will see? They'll ask for an unsecured note. They'll want 20% for the second, and you will take the deal and you will smile and say thank you. That is it. I have come up with a couple of solutions. I have come up with a couple of ways to escalate it. It is nothing that I would ever repeat in a public forum or on a web video ever. Ever, ever. But I'm telling you straight up, it has caused me sleepless nights to try to figure out a way around that loophole. Am I on a second position HELOC? Think about this. The first could theoretically foreclose, leaving the second open, so it's a HELOC, so it's got valid credit terms, so it could chase the client for the deficiency if they don't take the deal. That's hot. Plus get the MI, plus get the payoff from the first, and still carry the deficiency. You take what they offer. It's a position of power. When you negotiate one-on-one or play Texas Hold'em, as John and I do, you need power. He who's got the biggest stack usually has the biggest power, bottom line. He can threaten. And in this case, Wells, Chase, and B of A and their educational process that they have barfed onto the real estate populace, including homeowners, has caused us all to be out of position. And they've also now created a loan that has given them more position. Yes?
Aren't they writing these loan laws into that same type of scenario too?
No,
in the
not
fine
really.
print?
No. The short term on loan mods, the 1 year 18 rollovers, no, not bad at all.
No.
No, they're not looking for anything. All they're looking for on a trial loan mod is for your client to give them information.
Right, but I mean, if they, for the few who get the loan mod,
The real
they're
ones?
in a whole different package then, no?
No, they just recast the existing terms. You can't rewrite. You can't do. You can modify terms. You cannot rewrite terms. So you what they call recast or rewrite. So you can modify existing terms. We're going to talk about how to market for that. I'm going to do all kinds of stuff. You're going to get a preview for your 6-week cycle today. So we've got that all in line. Those are the 3 basics. Which means you got to stack the file. Everybody here should know how to stack a file. Oh my God, I can't believe it's still in my seminar this year. I'm getting ready to do more seminars next year, and I can't believe that I'm going to have stuff about how to stack a file. My opinion, if you're having problems stacking a file still, there are many designations out there that will teach you how to stack a file and put a lovely designation stamp on the front of your file. They are great jumping off points to learn how to stack a file. Stacking a file does nothing. The question is, what the hell's in the freaking file? All right, it's a story. We're unloaning money. So what are people taught through the designations, through NAR, through the DREs? More. Got to submit more. And because people didn't get more because of me, and me jumping up on tables, what did the banks come up with? We'll give you a trial loan mod for a year to a year and a half if you tell us all about your personal financials. Touche, oh Bank Olay. I mean, seriously, when I come up with something good, it's like, what did they do now? I don't, and everybody tells me, Lee, you're just completely out there. There is no way. Really? Really think about this objectively. How many years have I been saying smaller, lesser files? And what are homeowners doing now? They got to the homeowners before I could get to the homeowners and telling the homeowners, hey, if you just do your financials and send it over to us, we'll give you a trial loan modification. And if that works out, maybe you'll get a full recast. By the way, nobody's ever gotten a full recast after a trial loan mod. There's actually case law on the subject of people trying to sue to get full recasts. You know why they're not going to win? Because it's the bank's money. They can do whatever the hell they want. And they're bigger and they've got more money. So let's talk about what's in the file and what really screws things up, all right? All of that is your story. No VODs, no VOEs, no VOMs. They're not going to pull credit. They're not going to pull collateral. They'll use last month's or last quarter's credit report. They won't pull anything new or updated. All right? Whatever you submit on our unloan is all that they know. If they start asking questions about 401ks and other properties, the story has been corrupted, hasn't it? Because banks don't know anything, do they? So where did they get the information? Statistically, it's probably in your file or the homeowner. That's what I've learned. Okay? So where are the real simple ones? First of all, the hardship letter. This is the biggest mistake still. So I'm going to simplify it even further than the old 5 valid hardship routine. There are 2. So nobody screws this up anymore. There's no in between on this. I used to have 5 valid hardships. They've all seen this. And these are the hardships. Here's how you write it. There are 2. Okay? 2. Valid hardship number 1. I don't have any money. Valid hardship number 2. I'm moving. That's it. I don't care what scenario you put into me. It's going to be one of those 2. Well, I'm getting divorced. That means you don't have money anymore. I'm relocating because of work, but I'm current. That's relocating. You're either moving or you're broke. Well, I have an illness and death in my... No money. Okay? Simplify this. How dumb are the people at the bank? Don't give them any opportunity to hear magic words like, I am in impending doom in the future and I think I'm going to be laid off next month or blah, blah. That's in the future. That's not today. What's happening today? I'm broke. I'm so broke I can't afford the E in broke. Broke. Okay? I'm broke and I need a short sale. Or I'm moving. That's it. There is nothing else. Okay? Somehow this has gotten so screwed up over the last 6 months, I have now even simplified it a step down, 1 more peg. 2 of them. You're either broke or you're moving. That's it. And that's what I tell my client. You're either broke or you're moving. Write up your hardship letter. And it better not be more than a paragraph or I'm not taking it. That's it. That's all your coaching. Well, I want a short sale because there's no equity. Then I don't want to work with you. Gosh, we saved myself a lot of trouble. I'll give you a great attorney to go work with who can file a bankruptcy for you. Okay? That's it. Go help the people that want to be helped. I don't have any money. I've been laid off. I need help. I need out of this. I want to buy again in a couple of years. I want this to all be better. That's the person I'm looking for. Okay, that's the people you should be looking for. And I understand that we all work kind of hurt and scared and we take whatever deal we can put our hands on. You're not being beneficial to you. Okay? For every person you help, you should get 4 good leads. For every person that gets foreclosed upon, it's not 4 people who are mad at you. It's 8 to 10. Okay? It's an actual amplification. So you got to be aware of those numbers while you're working on it. The next, my personal favorite, copies of the last 2 years of tax returns. All right, because maybe I was too complicated in the past discussing this. The first 2 pages, obviously I'm using too many big words having explained this for 3.5 years. Only the first 2 pages. Don't believe me? Read the HAFA guidelines. Don't believe me? Go on the Equator website. They just want the first 2 darn pages. Anything beyond that, I'm now going to know about 401ks. I'm going to know about all their other hidden assets. Dumb to dumb, dumb, dumb. Okay? Here's the other part I don't get. If you submit a 100-page file to the bank, how do you think it's not going to get lost? That's a lot of freaking paper, in my opinion. All right, I got my story. I packed it up. I've looked at it 1 time. I know that there are no issues. I know that it is less than 40 pages these days. I am ready to submit my file. I have a great file. I want to point this out. I forgot about this slide. Something I premiered in Anaheim. I want you to look closely at what loan modification requirements look like so you understand what you're up against. Here they are. Wait a minute. It looks just like a short sale request. What a coincidence. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Thank you. Forgot that slide was in there. Jumped right to the next section. All right. Let's start our call cycle. Number 1, call the bank. ask them for their fax numbers. This is what you do on every single file. Every file. Hi, bank. Can I have the fax number for your authorization forms, where to submit my package, and where do I send my please do not contact my client? Because I don't want you calling them anymore. You're scaring them. Simple. That's so hard. How are people screwing this step up? And I know there's people watching this video going, you suck, Lee. I know. It's okay. It's going to be a good video when it's done. Call and confirm receipt. Okay? These are basic fundamental steps. Last but not least, call at least once a week till it's assigned and somebody's ordered a BPO or a mitigator or whatever. I'm being nice. I prefer 3 to 5 days. If you're asking me how I do it at my office, Diana cycles 3 to 5 days on assignment. Yes. That's the way I roll. That's simplicity. That is organization. And if you're hiring a loss mitigator for your office, make sure they're anal retentive and they love system and process. It makes your world a wonderful place. Mine does. And it makes my world a wonderful place. That's it. Those are the basics of submitting a file. How does this get screwed up? How does this possibly get... I want to have a quiet moment with the people on the web. How do you guys screw this up? Really? I know. How? How? It's simple, right? I mean, this is what your designation taught you. Sorry, that was bad. All right. That was almost like a relapse moment. I really felt that that might have been an old Lee relapse. If I have them, it's okay to point them out. All right. So here's the timeline. First 1 to 4 weeks, I want to assign to a mitigator and a BPO order. I want you to meet the BPO person at the property. My God. Meet them. Give them comps. Lee, are you saying to influence the value that goes back into the bank? Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. That's a good close-up moment. I felt it. It's like putting quotes. I'd love to show you the whole room, and people are in awe. They're just staring at me. There's thousands of them. How's it going for you, Jack? You haven't seen me do anything in a while. Am I at least coherent again?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a plus. All right, next 4 to 8 week cycle, I wanted to assign to a loss mitigator. I wanted to submit it for approval. What do I mean? The investor, Freddie, Fannie, whatever, somewhere in the next 4 to 8 week cycle. Okay? And in my last cycle, 8 to 12, I want them to tell me they have approval, that they've got a and we're drafting the letter and we're getting it to you. Now, I'm going to give new market data. Really, really good short sale people close files in 75 days. Would you like to know the criteria for a really, really super fast short sale? That would help with marketing, wouldn't it? Did you know that if you have a property that's over the value of, say, well, I don't know, $750,000, $750,000 or greater, your short sale will go 1 month faster than everybody else's? Well, Lee, that would mean that the bank only cares about big properties and big losses. Money again, yeah. Everybody following that? So if I got a bigger property, it's going to be a faster short sale. I'm also making a greater commission. Can you market that way? Actually, here in Vegas, yeah, you can. There are quite a few of those still. Personally, I'd like a $2 million property that's only worth $1 million. To me, that's a slam dunk. If you can get a single lien, yay, touchdown. Okay, that's... Could I ask a title company for that direct information? Well, if they didn't think it was a RESPA violation because somebody told them it was, yeah, you probably could. So you'll probably have to buy that list somewhere so it's not a RESPA violation. But still a RESPA violation to get title information? I don't get that whole thing. It's a whole weird thing with me. Now, for the rest of the garbage, say, oh, I don't know, North Las Vegas, where you got properties that are $75,000, $100,000, where nobody gives a crap about them, including the homeowner, they're going to be harder, aren't they? Right? Who cares that they're losing $200,000 or $300,000 in value that some moron bought a condo for $400,000 that's only worth $100,000, like say at Trump Tower? Sorry, it's a great facility. I'm thinking of buying there. Wasn't that what they were going for? $500,000 or something?
Yep.
I can get one for $100,000 right now. That's so awesome.
You pay $1,000 a month.
I know. I'm holding my breath. I'm thinking by next year the HOAs have to adjust on. People ask me, when are you buying out here? Next year, next winter, actually. I'm waiting. I can't decide if next summer, because people like Vegas during the dead hot of summer, which to me would be the worst time to buy, but apparently people buy. So I'm going to have to wait till December or January when it's almost snowing here, and I'll buy next year. Next year should be, I can buy land. John and I will talk. We'll build. It'll be fun.
There's lots of land.
That will be fun. We should be able to buy land at nothing. I should be able to get an acre with utilities on it, dirt cheap. I'm a builder by nature. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I started as a developer, home construction lending group. That's where I was an asset manager first.
Trenton.
Yes.
They were
Now you're
Boulder
starting to
City.
see the whole circle
They
of
used to
life.
live in Boulder City, didn't they?
Yeah. So that's the timeline. That's the one you want to follow if you want to do cut and dry stuff. All right. So I got the cut and dry stuff out of the way. Let's notch it up one level, because that's the simple stuff. That's the stuff you learn from at NAR if you were taking an educational process, perhaps other designations of four-letter nature. That's the basics. That's what you get for your 4 hours, all right? That's not what's going to close a short sale, okay? It is about the philosophy of the bank. And I'm going to teach it to you. And I'm going to teach you what I know on the subject. So let's start from the very beginning. It starts with a quiz. I premiered the quiz. The quiz was great, right? This will teach you once and for all how a bank works. Much like a class, you need a quiz. So the first question on my quiz is, how much does the bank want to make back on every file? I will give you help. It is a 4.5% interest, 30-year amortized. Did I say 4.5% on 100,000, 30-year fixed? How much do they want back?
You're looking at me?
Yeah, just pick a number out of the air.
I don't know.
Okay. Anybody want to take a stab? She knows the answer. You don't get to answer.
I won't say anything.
All right. Anybody else want to take a stab? You guys are very... Look, I'm not that... This is nicely now, okay? Old Lee would have demanded... What do you think, Susan? How much?
No. $1 more.
No. That is not the answer. And you saw the answer at the 2-day. Shame on you. The correct answer, how much can I get back? Oh, yeah. Over the lifetime of the loan, you're probably paying me back $250,000 based on interest and fees. That's about how it works over 30 years. Haven't you heard those commercials? Do you know how much you're paying the bank over the next 30 years? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because I borrowed the money at 5%. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm paying him back. I signed a contract. Well, the minute you say the word short sale, you're forgetting. We're unloaning money, right? So what do we say when we say short sale to a bank? We have just rang the dinner bell and say, it's a collection now. All right? So I got a $100,000 loan. How much does the bank want back? How much can I get back? Previously, they wanted prepayment penalties. The reason your file isn't going to work, because they're getting 100% of their money. They don't care. You got to make them care a little bit. I mean, there's got to be some kind of, kick to get them through the front door. How much commissions do the banks pay right now? And those of you watching going, 5%. That's what I was told in my class. It's 5%. And I should only expect to get 5%. If I have both ends of the deal, I'm only allowed to have 3 to 4%.
You never have a problem with commission.
You shouldn't. I've taught you well.
I guess when you don't,
Make it an issue.
you know you're going to get it all.
I had the question raised to me the other day, how do you even have... I did 3 to 5 seminars a week. And somebody really did raise the question yesterday, how do you actually have it in you to go back out there and talk to agents again? I mean, for people who know me, and there's a lot of people here who know me, I really melted down about 6 months ago. I mean, I was literally like a fudgesicle on a sidewalk melted down. I had a full tilt, nervous, melted on the street breakdown on the subject. I was toast. Now I've rebuilt myself back up. I have better people skills. I've been going to Disneyland weekly with my daughter, working on my patients. Went with Steve Guzman recently. That was a lot of fun. I'm a better person. I've worked on developing better skills, interpersonal skills. I'm a better friend. I think I can have a healthier relationship if I ever get a chance at one again. I'm really excited about my life at this moment. For those who read my blog, they're like, yeah, you're actually going in the right direction. What would possess you ever to want to go talk to 50 to 100 agents 3 to 5 times a week? Because the number one thing they're going to say is, well, I only get 5% and 4%. I just cut my deal the minute I submit it so that I can make it faster. Wow. Wow. I don't even have a response anymore. I've decided that I'm just automatically going to look at somebody and go, wow, how's that working for you? I mean, seriously. I mean, I don't have a problem giving up the deal to help my homeowner and to make the deal a better place. Okay, that's our goal, right? That's what we're all about. We're here to help our people and to make this all a better world. At the end of the day, when you boil this down, close the deal, get more deals, you make more money. Stop being helpful to the bank is kind of my thing on this. They don't need any help. There's 20% equity on a file at fair market value. From the point of fair market value to the lowest number the bank will take, there's 20%. I can't seem to excite the investors to want a piece of it, except John and his group. We're close, right? We're on the verge of like blowing it up big time and doing it my way. They want an engine bad. I think Darren's right there. I think he's like on the verge of. He wants that $10,000 deal that I did on the $33 marketing trick to go, and then it's going to blow
Let me
up.
tell you, you worked hard to straighten yourself out, and I worked hard to straighten out that bow-legged kid.
I can't wait. I can't wait to go in there and build that engine. 20% equity! Why would you give them your commission on top of it and give them 22, 23, 24, 25, 30% of the equity back? Oh my God. You're giving them more equity. Thank you. That's my whole pitch. So stop giving them. I know you want to cut your commission and you want to just stop. Okay, they'll pay. I promise them. Right? If it's a Freddie or Fannie deal, you get an automatic 6%. Go run the loan number on their website. Find out. You get an automatic 6%. The simple stuff. Lee, why would you want to go do this 3 to 5 times a week? This is actually a really good presentation. Actually, I think I can actually explain short sales now. I don't have to tell people about short sales. I can teach them. I think. What method will the banks use to determine fair market value? Okay, this is a trick question, so I'm going to teach it to you. We know fundamentally that they're going to lie about the value. What method will the bank use historically? They will use the BPO. They will more than likely balance it with an AVM because those are free for them. But they will use anything and say anything to make you believe it's a higher value. And that's the point of this exercise. Okay? I cannot stress it enough. It is very, 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 very important that you understand that the number one lie that is not in your file, that cannot be stopped by a bank, and you should expect it from the beginning, is going to be on the value. It is the easiest way to get more money on the file. And in a remarkable twist to the market, there are agents who will go back to the buyer and get more money to close the deal in a down economy with lowering property values. A buyer's agent will then go back to the buyer and get more money because the bank said it was higher. How in the hell does that work? I mean, how does that fundamentally work? How do you go back to somebody on declining value and go, hey, I need $10,000 more because the bank said it was a higher value? Well, since we have a fiduciary responsibility to the bank, and they are a principal now in the transaction, thanks to NAR, the DRE, I loved everybody who rolled their eyes, and I hope you watching rolled your eyes at that moment and enjoyed the cynicism that just dripped off my lips at that moment. Because that's what we've done. That's where we're at. Now, is that the truth, or is that me just telling you because I like hearing myself? I do like hearing myself. I don't think there's a problem saying that.
No.
It's the truth. And that's how this market plays out. And who's getting hurt? Your homeowners. Now they're scared. Okay? Because this has all gone sideways. Because a bank is now giving a perception of, we'd rather just foreclose. It's positioning. So, banking philosophy is very simple. It is first loss, best loss. Maximize return all the time. First thing they will use is a value slope curve. They will figure out based on depreciation. In fact, they will create brand new loans based on the depreciation of the market. I have seen it. I know it. It's there. Okay? Once I know the fair market value, then it's just simple math. Okay? It is called a minimum acceptable net proceeds. Does anybody know where that terminology comes from? I hate to look really official here. I'm apparently the only one who did research on the HAFA program for the United States, and I did it in a psychotic manner that I can only compare to, did you see A Beautiful Mind when he's got believing that all the voices are there and the ropes and the string and the connecting the JFK assassination? I've connected the JFK assassination to HAFA. I'm sure of it. It's in there. I spent 3 hours in a coffee bean in the valley drinking way too much coffee, getting way too jacked up, and going through all this stuff. Crazy. I went through it time after time. This is the term that comes up the most. Would anybody like to know what a minimum acceptable net proceed is? It is the lowest possible dollar the bank will take short sale versus foreclosure. And how do they do it? What's the better deal, short sale or foreclosure? It's in HAPA. It's in everything. But Lee, that seems counterproductive. Couldn't they just take an online system like, say, Equator and add a desktop approval system so that they could just tell us what the numbers are and we'd have faster short sales? Yes, they could. But they wouldn't make as much money if they did it that way, would they? Because that little happy-go-lucky real estate agent who's got his fired-up education from the DRE or NAR out in Minnesota wants to call up the bank and give him all of his commission and give his client to give up an unsecured note and believe that the value is 3 times what it should be. Now, am I just saying that to be right? Or is that the truth? You all negotiate. That's the truth. It is the agent who will take a point less. It is the agent who rolls over. It is the agent who just repeatedly says to the bank, thank goodness I'm a short sale expert. But darn if my client doesn't have to take an unsecured note at the end of the transaction. What? I don't believe in unsecured notes. I don't believe in deficiencies. I don't live in that universe. That's letting the bank win. You don't win a partial pot in poker, do you? Split? Yeah, there's occasionally split, yeah. Guess there is. Didn't see that analogy coming. I'm a poker player. It's the whole thing. How does the bank do it? This is how they do it. I am now showing you 5 very famous calculators. These are net sheets from 5 different banks. Wow, that went really fast. I got to remember there's no back button. 1, 2, there's 4 of them. 3, I didn't bring my IndyMac one. There's 4, Wells, Chase, B of A, and I believe Saxon. I've got them all. I know what they do. I know how they think. I like going to the shark exhibit at SeaWorld. I'm staying at the Gold Nugget. I like going down the water slide and looking at the shark. You know why? I'm not in the damn shark pool with them. I own a mitigation company downstairs. You know what? I'm not in the shark pool either. I hire somebody to swim with the sharks. She just asks me questions all the time. Why? I know what the numbers are. Do you see me having the patience for somebody lying to me? No, not at all. My clients are more important than that. My clients deserve to have somebody like Diana run their files, who's going to be calm and patient and understanding with a low-level, I'll say it, this is old school, dung-flinging monkey processor who's going to lie and manipulate 100 people in that given day. And that's what they are. They're liars. They're manipulators. Because they only do 2 things. They lend money and they collect money. And when a shark is collecting, it collects. What I find amazing, still, people who join designations or they join programs. Well, I'm joining because they have such a good connection with Wells, Chase, and B of A. They like to bring in people from Wells, Chase, and B of A weekly or monthly. Every person I've ever talked to has never seen anybody from Wells, Chase, or B of A whip out one of these sheets. Never. It has never happened besides me. I am really surprised nobody with a baseball bat has been waiting for me in the parking lot after one of my seminars. Now I got all of them up on the screen. This is what their stuff looks like. They take a spreadsheet. You are a number. You are factual, hard credit, physical numbers to them. This is what you're doing. This is how much we're making. This is how much we're squeezing, right down to every penny on the deal. They know exactly what they're taking from you. Oh, I don't know. The investor said this. The investor said that. Wow. Would you like to know that they're sitting in a break room laughing at you? That's the truth. Want to know why I know? Because I know I have. I've read hardship letters, and I've read them in voices, and I've laughed. We used to sit around once a week, and I'd pull out my 5 favorite hardship letters and read them in staff meetings. And people thought they were real hardship letters. They're a joke. Look, line 3, they told me they had a $500,000 401k. Yay. I want a short sale. No crap. Go borrow against your 401k and I'll do the deal. Simple. Make it simple. Make them work for it. I mean, if you're going to have a fiduciary responsibility to the bank, at least make them work for it a little bit, okay? But this is exactly how they do it. How bad is it? Standard agent watching this right now who's probably hating me at this exact moment. There's not going to be anybody in this room, but this is exactly how it plays out, and it's happening right now, today, at this moment. Oh, hey, we just got the results back on your file. We spoke to the investor, and based on the Freddie Fannie guidelines, We got our BPO back in. We'll need $10,000 more from the buyer. We've reviewed the investor guidelines. They only pay 2% because you have both ends of the deal. And after further review with the investor and review of your file, we'll need a deficiency and an unsecured note for the remaining balance, because if you don't do it, we'll just foreclose. Have a nice day. Click. Tell me that's not a I'm all in move by the bank. I bluff. Boom, kick it all in. Because what's the threat? You've got somebody making $12 an hour, holding you by the short hairs, telling you how it's going to be, and if you don't do it, you're not getting the deal. Do they think you're going to give up all three? No. Now they're down to just asking for one thing. They used to ask for all three. Am I the only one who remembers the history of this market? They would consistently ask for all three items. The three places you can take money, they'd ask for them at the beginning. That was too complicated for agents. They've now just knocked it down to one or two things. I want the deficiency, and the value came back, and it's really high. So we want more from the buyer or the seller or somebody. They don't even try the crap guideline thing anymore. That was just too much for them. I mean, they've really simplified and directed the just do this or we'll foreclose, which takes us back to the do the banks really want to foreclose? Short sales have not changed in 4 years. They haven't changed in close to, and we were talking about this yesterday, I don't think short sales have changed in 5 million years. Or how long has man been on the planet? If I ask the religious people, they'll tell me it's 100 years or something. I don't know when we were all zapped onto the planet. And I'm not making fun of you. I just don't know. But theoretically, there were cavemen trading rocks somewhere in a cave because this rock was shinier. And then somebody traded it to the next person, and he sold that rock for less rock. That was a short sale. That negotiation has been going on since the inception of human beings, whether or not you're religious or you believe in creationism. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. From that point forward, that is the way trading and negotiating has gone on. That's all this is. This is somebody way out of position, and they've got it. If you want the hold 'em turn, they're in position. They'd be on the button. That's the spot to be, right?
Yeah.
You want to be on the button. That's right. I wait for your move, and I wait for the button. I get to call, I get to raise. You are out of position. I can do whatever I want. You submitted the deal to me. You anteed up. I waited to see what you had. Everybody positioned themselves. Guess what? I raise. I'm all in. Call my bluff. That's what they do. Now, what do you have to combat all this? How do you stop this? What is the turn on this? What is the I call? Well, it used to be something called escalation. You just call the bluff and show them their numbers and call it a day. And I taught it to everybody. The problem is I taught it to 50,000 agents who blocked it to 2 of their friends, and the 2 of their friends sent it to 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. I have completely effed up short sales in general by trying to teach everybody what the banks are really doing. Again, I was so far out there, and everybody else was so far out there, that I had created a middle. Now what's happened? I stopped speaking for 6 months, and we have to tell the bank everything, and if we don't, we're going to jail. And they want to foreclose again. No, they don't want to foreclose, not even remotely. I don't even think they've reactivated their foreclosures for the most part. I wouldn't believe this whole scenario at all. If I had a day, I probably think I could stop it. An hour? An hour. You gave me an hour. That's a tough one even by my standards. Which, by the way, it's now got a new owner as of 30 minutes ago. You gave me an hour. I admit I'm the miracle worker, and I have thrown some amazing Hail Mary passes in my lifetime. The best Hail Mary pass stopping a foreclosure based on numbers. Okay, this is how good you can get at it. My friend Ada Rayner calls me. It is the Wednesday before the Thursday before the holiday. What was the last one was on a Thursday? She called me on a Wednesday while I was playing golf at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. The sale was on Monday. Let me explain bank holidays. Nobody's working Thursday or Friday on stopping that decision. And at 2 o'clock I get Lee, I just got a file. 2 hours the day before a 4-day weekend, you want to stop a file that's going to go to sale at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Really? All right, here's how you do it. And I gave her a whole list. Here's the numbers, blah, blah, blah. Run this through, make this happen, make this form happen, send it off. 4:55, I get a text. They postpone the sale date. Okay, great. I mean, I've heard stories of stopping sales 5 minutes before sales. You run up there, hand them phones, based on this. You're going to make more if you do it my way. I call the bluff. I have all your money. Okay? The problem is most agents don't have calculators. They don't have access to mitigation companies. And no knock on attorneys. They do it by sheer willpower and might. They are the original hardcore bluffers. Talk about the poker player of the poker players. Attorneys who do short sale negotiations have a sledgehammer-like mentality of, well, if they don't take the deal, then we're filing bankruptcy, and who cares? And that's what their threat is. And it works a lot. I just believe in 100% close ratios, and they haven't lost any of your files yet, have they? All right, cool. They're a good attorney. And I got to say this for the record. This is a new Lee. It's a new year coming up. There are attorneys I have found and that I like. Wow, that's a big twist for a former asset manager. Because I hate attorneys. Oh my God, I hate it. All right, so what do they say? What do they do? So if the bank really wants to do the short sale, why don't they close? That's the truth. Okay, everybody agree that short sales physically haven't changed. It's still based on math. Everybody agree on that? You guys agree on that in there? Just follow me. It's the truth, right? It's based on math. Minimum acceptable net proceeds, right? So what's changed? It's the perception of the market. So you have to understand why that works. We're at my finale. We're at my explanation. And this is why short sales have changed. Okay? This is why short sales have failed. All right? So let's look at it objectively. You need to understand what collects money. There are three things that collect money fundamentally. Okay? They are fear, they are greed, and that is power. This is also how you're good at Texas Hold'em. Fundamental. Why? These are also the motivators of a person's ego. Okay? So what is fear? Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous and likely to cause pain or threat. Is that the best definition of Wells, Chase, and B of A ever on the face of the planet? It's now also the definition for NAR and your local DRE and boards. And the attorneys, your title companies, escrow companies, your brokers. Is there anybody else not trying to threaten you about doing short sales that I can't throw on that list? Greed. Everybody gets this word wrong, okay? It's an intense desire for something, especially money, prestige, or property. That is what it is to be greedy. That is the real definition of greed. Everybody thinks it's about money. It's not about money. It's an intense desire for something. Everybody wants this deal to close. He who cares less, much like Texas Hold'em, wins. Great analogies with Texas Hold'em today. Last but not least, power. The capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. Voila. I give you the short sale market. These are also the motivators of the human ego. You have 5 egos involved in this transaction. The buyer, the seller, the buyer, the seller, the buyer's agent, the selling agent, and the bank. 5 egos. All motivated by those 3 things. So tell me how to line all 5 of those egos up so that they follow one person who knows what they're doing to close a short sale. You want to know why short sales don't close? Nobody has a consistent, congruent message. You got one guy like me out on the other end of the spectrum. You got everybody else saying, be afraid. Wow, that's fair for me trying to teach everybody. Why am I giving everything I do away for free right now? I will do anything. I will go one-on-one. I will do a room. I don't care who it is. I don't care where it is. I'm going to teach it one at a time if I have to. Enough. This is just utter, complete horse crap. This is about manipulation. It's about fear. It's about money. And it's about a homeowner who, under some psychotic belief, I'm saying this to every homeowner who watches the video, you're not going to keep the house. You're just not. I don't care what the bank tells you. You're just not going to get the house. You owe them money. You signed a contract. I'm the most pro-bank guy on the planet. I want the banks to get all the money they deserve. And I'm going to tell you exactly how much it is, based on your fiduciary responsibility. 0.01% better short sale versus foreclosure. The other 19 to 22% of that equity, find a home for it. Personally, a charity would be just fine, okay? If you don't want it, give it away to somebody, because Wells, Chase, and B of A don't deserve it anymore. And that's why I want to be your new czar of short sales. Thank you. I'll be here all week trying to feel. All right, so what does this really mean, and how bad is this? What's motivated you at this point, all right? My broker told me I shouldn't work on short sales. There's too much liability. That doesn't happen at all, does it? That hasn't happened to everybody in this room once, or heard it from another office. Let me tell you how bad it is. Family members have told me this statement. I have deemed myself, arrogantly, the trainer of trainers. Why? Because I've trained all the trainers. I actually have. I got roll sheets. I know it for a fact. I've trained them. The biggest players in this town, guess what? They all came and saw me. They all know why numbers work. I've had close family friends tell me they don't want to work on short sales. Too much liability. There's too much this. I've sat and given 5-hour lectures. One-on-one time. People have had one-on-one time. I can pretty much convince anybody with enough one-on-one time of anything. Okay? The DRE said I need to create a fiduciary responsible relationship with the bank. Your DRE is. Your NAR is. NAR is. NAR attorneys are. DRE attorneys are. My title company told me about the liability in the case law about short sales. You don't believe me that this is just perception? This is all it is. This is all perception. Our perception is officially skewed. And I'm going to say it again. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I really believe it. I didn't want to, and I'm trying not to get into a weird emotional thing about this, but it's my damn fault. So I'll fix it, okay? Enough. You got to stop believing this crap. Unless somebody can produce the case law and show me somebody who was just trying to help a homeowner ethically and correctly, okay? Enough. It's got to end. So, whose responsibility is this whole car crash, all right? I'm going to tell you what an agent's responsibility is in this transaction. Live it, learn it, know it, love it. Unless you get a mitigation company. Submit the file. And dealing with all the players in the transaction. And they must follow you. You cannot push them. You cannot drag them. They must follow you. You must inspire them to change. My mistake for 3.5 years was pushing people. I didn't inspire them. Follow-up, tracking, updating, approval, closing, and beyond the close. Yes, they're probably going to look for deficiency. Would you like to hear the latest one that I figured out that puts me again ahead of the curve? Brand new data. She just saw me like a month ago. Did the 2-day event. A lot of this is the same. I put in new stuff. What if I was an investor or a collection company? And I was approached by a bank who offered me $100 million in deficiencies. And they only wanted to sell it for $10 million. Would I take that deal? Probably. Why does a bank want so much paperwork? Because they only really decide a short sale on about 4 pieces of information. What are the other 34 to 105 pages of information for?
Sale.
Anybody else get a little following my logic on this? If I create a file and I sell a deficiency, did I just not increase my net back end exponentially? And if I do it as a bundle off the books after an escrow, it gets around the securitized portfolio issue because the escrow washes that out. So now I can take a bulk on the back end of deficiencies. And I've already had it confirmed by a couple of people that it exists. That's bad. Which means they're going to push harder and harder to build bigger and bigger files. Because the bigger the file, for somebody buying a bulk asset, the better it is, right? Due diligence. All right, are they all going to be files with full tax returns? Are they all going to be files with full 401? Are they going to, right? Follow me. Now, am I just saying this because I want to scare you? No. I could care. If what I just didn't scare the crap out of everybody, then I'm in a ditch that I dug, okay? I admit it. This is going to be the future. And they are really going to try to collect on deficiencies, and they are really going to try to go at it. So you've got to be sharper and quicker from the beginning and give them less. To not be intimidated by the bank and to make the deal. That is your job. And that is the hardest one. I play a lot of Hold'em. My favorite game is a 1-1 no limit where everybody plays because they have fun. The only way to intimidate at a 1-1 table is to hope that nobody calls your $40 bet. Okay, that's pretty much it on a 1-1 buy-in. There's no intimidation factor. We all go, we all have fun. But if I'm playing over at the Mirage and somebody's got $1,000 and I'm only buying in for a couple $100, that's intimidating when he goes all in. That's very, very intimidating. Very intimidating. You're dealing with Wells, Chase, and B of A. They've influenced the educational process. They've influenced the media. They stopped doing foreclosures when the federal government told them they had to foreclose. They're cool, all right? I know you guys don't like them, and everybody came in being bank-hating people. I'm a bank-loving guy. I still am. I go back to work for them tomorrow. I like the way they roll. They have never tried to not be the sharks they are. They've not even dressed themselves up to go, we're different. They didn't try that WAMU crap, all right? WAMU, we're the different guys in the green shirt, the blue shirts, right? We're different. We wear jeans to work. No, you just bought a better marketing company. I mean, it's a great angle. I personally think it's funny that B of A has Kiefer Sutherland of 24 as their spokesman, because that's exactly what it should be. A very intense guy talking about a very intense bank. You should just get out and do the real deal. Hi, we're sharks. You borrow our money, we're going to want it back. That's it. That's it. Don't overcomplicate this. And they've won. Don't ever confuse yourself. This isn't like me going, I'm going to go change the world. I know that I've based my blogs on the concept of me going and raging against all the banks. That has been my whole premise. I'm not going to win, okay? They've already won. This is like me saying I can take Short Sale Genius and make them the biggest designation out there. No, there are other organizations that have won. They had better marketing dollars. They had better market share. I can't have the best mitigation company. I can't. Okay? What I can say is this. Nice guys can finish last because they'll finish best. Okay? You got to understand that because the banks have won. They've really just literally won. That's all there is to it. So what can we do? We can make them bend a little bit. We can get our deals closed and play within the rules that they have given to us and not believe the horse crap that they keep flinging about. Because you got to understand the bank's responsibility in this whole program. This was very difficult. I came up with this question last night as I was walking around Fremont, which is my new favorite place to be on the whole planet. People ask me all the time, Lee, you're ADD, Lee, you're psycho. What? No. Go to Fremont Street. That's what my brain looks like. Fremont on a Saturday or Sunday night, about 9 p.m., throwing a few short sale files out on the center of the sidewalk. That's what my brain looks like on any given day. And it's easily to get distracted. I can walk around and I can actually be focused in that place. There's so much crap going on visually and mentally that my brain, it's the best place in the world for me. I have found a new home. I might put a cot out on Fremont. All right. There are people already living out there. I'm just joining them. So what is this is the one I came up with yesterday. What's the bank's responsibility in the transaction? Anybody know?
Get money.
The what?
Collect your money.
Get money.
No. You ready? This is big. This is everything short sales are about. The bank's responsibility is to say no. I'm right. I'm 100% right. Now, when I sent this to Patty Guilford last night, one of my best friends and one of the best mitigators in the country, she went, "What? That's insane." What did I teach everybody in this room day one? Make me care. That's all I've ever taught you. Make me care. What story are you telling me? Make me care. Because as it stands right now, no. That's the thing I have taught all of you in this room that have been with me that long. Day one, hour one, second one. Make me care. Make me care. Because you know what? I'm getting paid on Friday. You're not. You want to know what the old school asset manager looks like? I am not your friend. I am not your buddy. I get paid by an entity that has told me to cut out your throat and feed it to you. They sit and they laugh at you in boardrooms and they talk about people as percentages like it's a war. That's the truth. Lee.honish, the asset manager, is... I can't even... Look, and this is usually the point in the seminar where I summon him up so you can all see what it looks like one time. I can't even do it anymore. It's disgusting. That's what it is. How do I take it from you? Make me care about that file. That's your job. Tell me that's not what they're demonstrating. Every single day with somebody making $12.50 a freaking hour. Telling you, a seasoned, licensed real estate professional who has been positioned by NAR, CAR, FAR, and everybody else on the planet, that you are out of position and you better do it their way. Wow, I want to do short sales. Where do I sign up? 75% of the national market is short sales, yet 40 to 50% of the agents are the only ones doing short sales. What the hell is going on in this scenario? And I wish I didn't feel that it was my fault. I really wish I didn't feel that this was my fault, that it's gone so sideways. And it's not arrogance on my part. It just drives me every day to get up and make sure somebody knows it the right way. There are a couple new people, other than like every short sale genius person in the room. All right. These are your 4 players. They are all motivated by their ego. The thing you have to remember is there is one last individual in this transaction. It is the bank. It is an entity. It has its own physical life and life force. You must treat it like a person, more or less like a loan shark, personally based on the way I like my philosophies to roll on them. They're the easiest way. Because ultimately, that's the only way you're getting paid. And if all 5 of those points don't line up in time and space, you are not closing your transaction. It is why short sales are now closing at an astonishing low rate again. Would you like to pinpoint when that all went sideways too? I got an idea. It's approximately 6 months ago. All right, again, maybe it's not my fault. Maybe. But again, what is the possibility of the perception of agents declining, short sales closing less, coinciding exactly with the time when I stopped speaking? One of them, maybe. The odds would be a little bit lower, but both of them? I can keep going. There's a whole lot of things that actually occurred at the same time. Half of fails, everything goes sideways all at the same point. I can give you a lot of contributing factors on why this market is so bad. Which brings me to my engine. I'm getting ready to premiere this for Short Sale Genius people. By all means, go visit shortsalegeni.us. Send me an email. I'll get you all the info. I got stuff for you guys. I'm gonna do some really cool stuff. All right. For all the people who've seen me, how's this? Much better presentation? Is it understandable now for the first time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
All right, I got freebies. My event. Oh, jeez, event where you get that. Water in the back. It's in my office. I didn't really mean it that way. That sounds bad. Short Sale Genius put on the best 3-hour, no-cost event on the face of the planet. I just happen to be in my office. I barely pay anything for my room. This is in my office building. It's a great office building. I actually got this whole big empty office building because I'm going to build the largest mitigation company in the United States on flat fee. I'm going to take up every floor. Every person will be working 100 files. I see an army of them. Walking, talking, anal retentive zombies who only believe me. Whatever Lee says, yes. That is my philosophy. So, what you are looking at is an engine. This is what I do for a living these days. I do still work for Short Sale Genius, shortsalegeni.us. I'll give you all the information, don't worry. That's if you want to do it yourself. There are people in here that will give you testimonials to no end about how wonderful Trent, Ryan, and myself are on the subject of working with real estate agents. I also do a couple of other things because in the last 6 months I wasn't allowed to speak. People were afraid to let me talk to the public. Go figure. Somebody actually pointed that out. I thought, this is a true story. I hate to have a really weird, candid moment as we're just about wrapping things up. Very candid moment. I met with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I said, yeah, I'm upset. I was really upset with Short Sale Genius. They basically stuck me in a corner and sequestered me. They called it sabbatical. And somebody made me look at it and he goes, they were afraid of you. Holy crap, you were insane. I said, no, really. And he said, look at it from their point of view. You've got a company, you've got 1,000 agents, you've got to take care of these agents. They don't even trust you to talk to them at this point. Let them talk to people at this point. They were barely letting me do cold calls for a while. I mean, I wasn't allowed to do Q&A. I mean, it was a whole thing. I was wrong. I never saw it as people being afraid of me. I just thought you guys didn't want to hear what was right. Because in my mind, the right was the truth, and I didn't know the difference between truth and right. They were very clouded in my mind. You have to fundamentally understand all this. This is the truth. If you want to be successful at short sales, that's really, and that's why I'm giving this stuff to you guys. I'm going to premiere this for Short Sale Genius people. I'm taking them on a 6-week Christmas present. I'm basically, their fee is covering the cost of setting this whole darn thing up. It's becoming more expensive than actually doing this, but this is a jump start, and this is what a real engine. So 6 months ago, I needed something to do. I started consulting with investors because nobody else wanted to work with them. It's the truth. Nobody wants to work with investors in short sales. They're afraid of them. And the ones that do short sales, they're afraid of them even more because they're even... I kind of started with John and Tanya, kind of got my feet wet and really good dinners during my crazy periods. And then I met Brian Way and his group, and I did my first consult, and then I worked with someone else, and I worked with somebody else, and I worked with somebody else, and then I started consulting and building engines for companies. What you're looking at is the perfected engine of short sales. That's the cookie cutter version. If I were to walk into somebody's office for my consulting fee, or I did one-on-one rebuild your office, the prices range anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 because I'll show you return on investment. I'm with you for 3 months. Trust me, I'll make it happen. I will improve the process. I'm more than happy to make it happen. What you're looking at this exact moment is basically 6 months of labor of figuring out how this works. There are 5 basic steps. When I do a consult, and here's what I'm going to ask you about your own offices so you can improve your offices. I'm doing this for Short Sale Genius people, and so you're going to kind of get the preview for the ones that bought into it here. The first question I ask is, how many people are working your short sale files? If you're one person, you can work safely with all the ends by yourself, 20 to 30. Okay? If there are 2 of you, you can jump up to 50 or 60. If there are 3 of you, you jump up to 100. Now know this about working short sale files on a team of 3 people. Anything above 80 without good process is chaos. Because if you're working short sales right now and it feels like you're spinning your wheel or you're pushing too hard or short sales have gotten harder, any of those perceptions, right, that's what we talked about today, perceptions, it all comes back to what's broken in this cycle. These are all the cycles and where they all break down. So I'll go through it. The first important thing to do is marketing. I am not a fan of mass marketing. I have never been a fan of mass marketing. In fact, I have just released and starting to do my own marketing coaching, mentoring. I don't like the word mentoring. That would mean that somebody's, coaching better. Do I strike you as a mentor? It means I'm going to work with inner city kids or something next or something. I'm going to read to the blind in my spare time. I don't think anybody's really going to buy that about me, but I can coach really good, okay? Coaching. What you see up there are the basics. Direct mail is the best, and you just have to remember the message. Your clients are going to be looking for loan mods, or they're going to be looking for loan mods, or they're going to be looking for deed in lieu right now. So if I do marketing that's directed to that, then I will get a better response. Face-to-face is my favorite. That's why I'm doing this once a month. I'm showing you one of my models. I didn't expect monstrous turnouts today. Do I expect it by March? Absolutely I do. I'm going to send you guys out of here with flyers, and you're going to go tell 2 friends, and they're going to go tell friends. By March, first quarter, when my company's up and really running full steam here in Vegas, people will fight to get seats in this room month after month. Because people who have seen me will tell you the truth. I change every month. I am not slightly on the curve. I'm in front of the curve. I talk to agents. I talk to homeowners. I got to be one step in front. Okay, it's what's made me a little more unique than everybody else. Yeah, I'm the former head loss mitigator. Yeah, I got a calculator. Yeah, I know how to escalate still. That's not enough. I just found out about new loan types and new, there's always a twist. Geez, I try to keep up and it's like, here's the new one. I keep up on them. Okay, face-to-face is important. What do I like? I tried it out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm thinking of doing it here in Vegas. I'm thinking of doing a mixer at the Blue Martini, where everybody just brings their short sale files, and we all go to bag karaoke night at the Blue Martini. All right, admittedly, it's a cougar bar as well, and that's why I might have joy in it. But I had actually put a Facebook post up that night about bring your files over. There wasn't a whole lot going on. What night was that? Wednesday,
It was like a Thursday.
Thursday night with Steve? Is that a Thursday? Steve's like, why don't you have agents come over and bring their files? I'm like, there's people who do this in Arizona. Why not? What about a 5 or 6 o'clock happy hour short sale file extravaganza at the Blue Martini? That'd be fun.
With designated drivers.
Well, I don't drink, so I actually need something to do, so I can be designated driver as well. Face-to-face for yourself is easy. I'm going to give you guys a really simple one on face-to-face. You already have a sphere of influence of agents you work with, right? Why wouldn't you meet with them once a month at a mixer or at a meeting or something and just talk about short sales and to help them? Everybody laughed at me to no end when I said that my format was going to be to just go help people for free. It has not hurt me at all for making money, not even remotely. In fact, I've made more money. I just got another consult yesterday. Okay? A private consult to me is free money. I don't really have to do anything. I go in once and I talk to them once a week. They're literally just giving me money for my knowledge. It's brilliant. I can go to Disneyland more often. I could really just sit on my rear end and do a couple consults, do a few things for Short Sale Genius, and have an extraordinary life. An extraordinary life. It's not enough. I've got to change the market and I've got to change the perception. If you do it, it will help me. It will also get you files. I promise. So go and help people for free. I've tried out Backpages and Craigslist. I tried all that stuff. So referral marketing and face-to-face. SEO's huge. Huge. Can't say it enough. Huge. You can't say it enough. That's why I picked the words fast, short sale. It's keyworded. People want a fast, short sale. Guess what? I'm on the first page because my company is fastshortsale.org. Made all the sense in the world to me. Then I just blogged the crap out of the stratosphere because I like writing as much as I do talking. I do a lot of videos. I help people. I started doing pro bono stuff. I started posting that I would have people come to my office for free. Do I think that 100 people are going to show up on a Monday for help? No. They leak in every now and again, and you know what? When they leave, they give me their files anyway to mitigate them. I don't know why they didn't just do it in the first place so I wouldn't have to talk to them for an hour, but that is the redundancy of my life. Door knocking still works. NOD list, just remember what their mindsets are. Cold calling expired. Bless your hearts. It works. I don't know why you do it, but there are people who get success out of that. Last is media. I have been jerking around with Craigslist. I have been jerking around with Backpages. People have told me about newspaper ads. Again, the message. Help you with a loan mod, help you with deed in lieu. Then bring them in and give them a good education. Okay? Whatever it takes to get them in the front door and into a seat where you can give them a good education. Never use fear or intimidation. You don't have to. You just have to tell them the truth. And I think that's what we forget. Once you have that part of the cycle worked out, and to answer your question about, I will show you exactly some of my favorite techniques on all this. In fact, I think you get marketing pieces that I've written with that group. I'm going to throw in the marketing pieces on. You've gotten 1 or 2 of mine, I think. Are you on the 6-week cycle too?
Yes.
Bless your little heart. The second week of their cycle, and the second section to any decent consult, is, so you got marketing. Step 2 is, what is my file in? What am I taking in? So when the client comes in, you got to remember their mindset is about keeping their home. That is the client I predominantly want to work with. Okay. Then you set up the short sale file, which includes taking the offer from the buyer. So I've got to get the buyer into a mindset and the buyer's agent into a mindset. And the last is what I call sit-stay education. If my seller does not sit and stay educatedly, they're going to kill my deal, aren't they? These are all really important. What I've seen, this is where every short sale breaks down. And it breaks down in these sections. So the person who, personally, if in an ideal world, everybody handles one section in a drone-like manner. I have one person who just does marketing. I have one person who just does the client and prep, does the prep on the clients. The third is the processor. This is an important person in my little universe. And they're the ones who set up the file. They're the ones who create the story. They're the ones who ultimately create and prep the file for submission. Okay? There is a whole step on the processor. If you want to know if you have a good processor, there is a test. I have created a test. Get a 40-page file with no information in it. Make sure it has nothing. Then I want you to take a single page of a 401k or something minor, put something in a hardship. Doesn't really matter. You personally, intentionally add something to the file that you know would hurt it on the back end. Give it to your processor. Ask them to review it and see if it's ready to be submitted. If they don't catch it, fire them. Apathy of processors is the #1 cause for short sales not closing. Why? You're paying them $10 an hour to sit and talk to people. What is their inspiration to closing the file? If it's you doing the work, you're all over the place, and you're not focused and coherent. The processor is equally as important to the process, okay? Which takes us to our next step, the process. This is the big plug for Short Sale Genius. Ta-da! Step 4, Short Sale Genius. What do you want me to say? Or get a mitigation company that knows what they're doing. You need to submit it, you need to confirm the submit, you need to process it, you need to know how to escalate it. That's what it takes to get it through a bank. The bank section. For the people that I'm going to do this engine for on a 6-week cycle, they're going to learn how to use Short Sale Genius stuff in a way they've never used it before, because most people don't use it that way. Get a mitigation company. I don't care who it is. Somebody better understand step 4 and better be closing consistently in 60 to 90 days, period. And if not, going back to the processor thing, fire them. It's a true story. If I have 50 files, 20 files, 100 files, you should be closing 20% of your pipeline per month to be efficient. I have friends up in San Jose. They have 70 files. Last month they closed none. This month they've closed 4. This is an office I consulted with. Built him an engine that looks just like this. He says, Lee, I don't think it's working, whatever you did. I said, no, I know exactly what's wrong. Step 3. And they're all family and they're all friends and you won't execute. That's the truth. Too close to emotional. This is business. You're in the business of helping your homeowners. And if you're concerned about your little $10 an hour processor who can't do the job that you've hired, have them set up a file. Have them go sit open houses if you don't want to fire them. But hire somebody who can get the job done. Why don't I mitigate at my company? I am not a processor. I understand it. I could probably do it if I had to. I don't have the patience. Although I've worked on it diligently, I still have not found a way for me to sit there and listen to just such awful BS out of the bank. I watched Diana and I'm like, that's amazing. How do you do it? It's an amazing... I watch it in my own office. I sit at my computer and I do my thing. And I'm like, how do you do that? Just sit there and smile and eat that crap up with a fork. First words out of my mouth would be, you know you're lying to me, right? I mean, can't we just cut to the chase on this? Why don't you just tell me how you're going to foreclose and tell me how I got to give you the deficiency and my client has to sign the unsecured note and how I'm not getting any commission so that we can just get to the bottom line here. Lester, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Click. Yeah, that's what they would do. That's what they would do. Got to be nice. And then be nice again. Be nice even more. The last part is the close, and that's a big deal to me. Your letter and closing out the file are 2 different things. Baiting and switching still occurs out of the bank. Because the bank would never lie to you. Because they're in a fiduciary responsibility with you. They would never tell you it's approved and everything's hunky-dunky and then give you an approval letter that has no bearing on the file you just worked on. That has never happened to anybody in this room ever. And anybody watching this video going, how are you seeing into my mind? It's a bait and switch. Geez, it's the oldest trick in the book. I saw it on Fremont last night. Bait and switch happens all over the place, okay? What I was more shocked by, because I was sort of in bank guy mentality mode last night, I could identify every predator and dangerous person across the... And even the ones you didn't think were, I know you're a bad scooter. I know you're the bad one in the pile. Bank guy mind. Bad place to be. Last but not least, and this is the one that everybody forgets, and I want to point it out, is the referral process. I don't know why we don't follow up on our clients after the fact, why we don't create newsletters, why we don't cycle that again, because this should feed itself after a while. Once you're up to 50, 60 files, it should be generating on its own if I'm closing 20%. I shouldn't even have to market anymore. You can theoretically eliminate marketing out of the pipeline at some point. It should feed itself. Because I know above 50 files or so, people will start bringing you files in unreal numbers. Truth is, you start closing 5, 10, 15, 20 files. We've seen it in our own office. Once we started, it's exponentially gone up every week. Okay? People just want somebody competent to work on their files. You guys are all capable of it. It's simple. That's how you process. Everybody following me? Do I have any questions? Or are you all just stunned because Lee went in another direction again?
This is wonderful.
Then you like the new presentation, sweetie?
This is great.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get on your 6-week cycle with Short Sale Genius. I hate to give him a huge plug at this moment because it's my event. Somehow Trent and Ryan have worked their way into my event. Trent right now is doing a presentation in Orange County that I was double booked at, and I would rather be here because I booked this 2 weeks ago for 60 people. Look at them all. All right. So I opened up my own mitigation company. Here's my last little thing. I opened up my own mitigation company, Fast Short Sales. It's right downstairs. It's in this building. I bought this building for one reason. I bought into this building for one reason. I wanted all the empty space. It was pretty simple. Let's think about this. Lee.honish is doing mitigation. On paper, it sounds really skippy, doesn't it? All right, it's really Diana. I don't want to give a lot of credit on video. All right, she does ask me direct next actions because I am competent enough to give direct next actions. And I would like to thank everybody who's had to consult with me, including my daughter who've worked on my patients. Diana would personally like to thank them. I'm able to give coherent next actions. I now do coaching programs for Short Sale Genius. I'm coherent. I give good next actions. Ask Tanya. She's like my biggest raving fan based on that marketing piece that got her. She spent $33 on marketing and got a $10,000 deal on an NOD list. That one file. That piece that I created.
Oh, I don't remember, but
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
something simple.
He has a woman in his office named Tanya Michaels, who I thought would be here because this would be a testimonial moment for Lee and his coaching. I came up with a marketing piece based on loan mods. She sent it to an NOD list, 33 names. Oh, that's a good way to market direct mail. Send it to 33 people. Please test my piece like that. That makes me feel better. Nowhere in the history of me teaching have I ever said direct mail and NOD list. Nowhere. I've always said it's the worst list. Go knock the door first. 33 pieces. Look, I'm no marketing expert, but sending 33 pieces of mail, expecting a result. Right. It's insane, right? Okay, I'm going to tell you what her results were. 10%. She got 3 returns. She got 3 phone calls. She got 1 deal. The 1 deal is going to net her $10,000 on $35 out of pocket. You want to know what the problem is? Now she's expecting, much like the REO people, to get the 35. It's like gambling. I played craps once at the Sands. I remember rolling for 8 hours. I still remember it to this day. I was there at a table at the Sands. It was like a 6 to 8 hour roll. It's one of the historic rolls of Vegas. I was at that physical table. I have never had an experience like that again. Okay? I just want to say that for the record. That's why I don't gamble. And that's what I don't get about REO people. That's what I don't get about marketing people. They're like, so you'll just make a new marketing piece that'll do the same thing. No. That was lucky, I think. I'm not even sure, but it was a good message. Okay, and it reached the right person. Again, it goes back to all the basics. What's the story? Who am I telling it to? Did I reach the right person? Did I get action? That's the way I do all my stuff. I love mass marketers personally because they make my world a lot easier because now that I do coaching on marketing, mass marketing is how much can I barf out, and if I get 3%, it rocks. I don't operate like that because I've actually read reports on marketing and how the bank collects money. I just do it like they do it. I find the person I'm looking for, and I go directly after them. So, I ask you to make some decisions. They're very simple. Do you want to help homeowners and your own families? This is what I ask every room. I ask all of you on the video. Do you? Do you really want to help? Would you like to get more listings and close more listings? I like this question. I'm willing to leave this one open. I used to give you guys all market mentality and perception of what the market's doing. How long is the market going to last? I have handouts. I'm almost efficient today. How long is the market going to last? Dave, you're one of those guys. How long?
Yeah, probably another 4 years or so at
Is
least.
that all? How are half the agents out working on short sales?
I don't know.
How is there somebody
They're
watching
afraid of
this
them.
video at this moment going, no, next year's the last
They're
year?
afraid of it.
Why?
And they won't.
Why?
And they won't let anybody help them that wants to help them. They look at you like you're stupid. You say, let me help you. Let me give you. Let's have a mastermind. And they look at you like, what? I don't get it.
I think all of you guys should talk me down from this whole I want to go save everybody thing. I think those that are closest to me that have known me for 3 years of trying to teach this, you really should talk me off my ledge. I just wrote a letter to the President of the United States. I mean, I'm really not working in the right mindset anymore. I want to be the unofficial czar of short sales. What did I used to call myself? The policeman of short sales? Didn't I have that crazy moniker for a while? I like trainer of trainers. That was pretty original on my part. I'll have to create a new tour, the Czar of Short Sales tour. We had the demotivational tour, the Helping a Million Homeowners tour. I used to name all my yearly tours. All right. Would it be easier if I did all the bank work so you could just go back to being an agent? Would that be easier? Want me to do all the stuff for you? I think it would be.
Yes.
Clearly. Clearly, Diana's sent from God. Are you kidding? She knows how to work a HUD. I was talking to Patty Guilford about this last night. She's like, I don't care if she's killing people in her spare time. The woman can work a HUD better than anybody I've seen. She got our mitigation fee in the 1300 block. Paid! Without fighting for it. Now, psychologically, I think it's because I charge so little that the banks just kind of overlook it. It's not the 4 digits, it's the 3-digit thing. So somehow I fell under the radar. I think. So we got full commissions for the client, correct? And we did it for just our fee. In the 1300 block, we didn't have to go through big fee agreements and beat people up and just pay. Simple. What am I missing? Why are short sales so hard? Oh, they're not for her. They're not for me. It's because I refuse to work on them. But follow me on this. I have faith in all of you. And that's why I want to be your next czar of short sale. I sent you guys out a questionnaire. I would personally like you guys to fill out my questionnaire, get all your information on there. It helps me do better seminars. For those of you that are already SSG agents in the room, which is the vast majority, remarkably, excluding the other 60 of you that registered,
Do we have a designation?
someday somebody will have to explain the joke of this video.
Okay.
There should almost be like a Madden like play-by-play of this video of me sitting off to the side. Look, my seminars are faster now these days. People have seen me in the past, they were like 3.5-hour epic extravaganzas of stories and barfing. They'd go on and on and on. Leda would come up and it would be like an Elvis moment and she would throw like a towel over my shoulders. It like stopped. I would do, who was that? That's James Brown, right? Put the coat over his shoulders to stop him.
Yeah.
It's time to go. I can't go. I've got another half hour left in me. That's what it was like, wasn't it? I'd just go and 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 go. All right. This is all I do. I do flat fee mitigation for everybody in the room, for the new people that are here. There are already people here already using my flat fee company. Our prices start at $4.97. I can't make them any flatter or fee-ier less than that. We do everything. Just bring us the damn file. $4.97 if the file's already in flight. That's an escalation. $9.97 straight up if you want to start it from the beginning. And I will make it clear, because this is the disclosure on behalf of Diana and myself. It is Diana's way or the highway. It is my way or the highway. We are shortly going to be bringing on our next negotiator because our file growth is going exponentially out of control. So that person will have the same luxury as I afford to all my mitigation staff. It is our way or the highway. And I want to say this because I think that everybody thinks that I may have gone soft in the last 6 months. The people who know me, would it be a good idea, Dave, for anybody to cross me and find out what I'm still capable of?
No.
No. No. Here's some couple flyers.
We were kind of worried, though.
I also do coaching for investing and marketing. I just started a marketing program, and I made it affordable for everybody because I hate marketing programs that are out there. I do not do done-for-you marketing. I don't believe in it. I do a coaching program for marketing. It's 3 months, coached weekly, directly. That way I know it gets done correctly. One time, one fee, $1,000. $997. I charge $997 for everything. I don't know what the hell my whole thing is about not charging $1,000, but something psychological. I'm sure. I read it in a Dan Kennedy manual. That's another great joke that I'll have to wonka-straight later. Madden-straight, that's what they're called, Madden-straighters. So if you want to be involved with letting us do your file work for you, Diane is in the back of the room. She's happy to do all that stuff for you.
Does that include escalations?
Yeah, she actually escalates. She will just do straight up. If you got a file right now, you want to close it, give it to Diana. She'll tack on the 497. She'll probably have the approval for it by the end of the week. She escalates pretty efficiently, actually. Did I do my information too? Did I do this one?
Yeah.
So you guys have all my information. Get on my WordPress. I also sent that around. I am now unofficially applying for the position of czar of short sales. I'm very excited about it. leehonish.wordpress.com. Call our office 702-478-5836. Anybody on the video? lee.honish@yahoo.com. People are looking at me who really know me. It's my real email, isn't it? That's very funny on my part. Lee, L-E-E.H-O-N-I-S-H. I don't care where you are in the country seeing this. Call me, and I will help you with your files. You don't have to use me for mitigation. You can ask Dave. Dave's sitting right here. Dave, truth. I'm just randomly helping people.
Right.
What in the hell am I doing this for?
I don't know.
Because I got a lecture from Trent and Ryan on it devalues you. Actually, it's increased my value, and I actually have self-worth these days. I'm actually a nicer guy. It's a whole weird thing. And, of course, our website, fastshortsale.org. All one word. Go visit our website.